Boom, 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 boom. Bye bye. What is up, everybody? Dan the fireman here, and I'm just double checking, making sure. Let me know if the audio seems to be a little funky monkey. We're gonna work things out. It looks like on my end it's a little delayed in certain areas, but we will find out. Let me know if it looks like my mouth and voice isn't working at the same time. Sometimes it happens. New software, a little bit low. How about now? How about now? How about now? How about now? Yeah, the flu is gone. I feel a little better. Actually got a slight stomach ache. But it should be fine. We're gonna fix this. It's a little muffled. How about that? How about that? Fix the problem with the mic. How about that? Boom, boom, boom. So now we're gonna figure out, like, is my, like, when my mouth's moving, is it different than the audio itself? Is it different than the audio itself? Let me know. We're gonna fix that. We're gonna fix all these problems. What's up, everybody? How you doing, everybody? How you doing? We're gonna be doing some cool things. It's offset 1 second. Yeah, I figured it looked like a 1 second delay. Let me do this. How about now? Sync is off. Yeah, there was an update, man. I'm gonna get away from Streamlabs. Streamlabs is every single time. Yeah, it's like a ventriloquist. Yeah, it's worse now. Okay, so we'll do this. How about now? How about now, everybody? Double checking all the stuff. Thank you so much, Streamlabs. Guys, go ahead and ask your questions too at the same time. Audio is ahead of the video. Perfect. Is it perfect now? Better? Hola. Better? Because right now I could totally monitor. How about now? We're gonna try now. There's a little bit of delay. It's a little bit of a delay. I just don't want it to be too much. But yeah, go ahead and ask your questions and everything. Watch all your videos. Love it. Keep it up. Good stuff. Nice. It's hardly offset now. Better, not perfect, but acceptable. I want it to be perfect. I think you guys understand that I want it to be perfect. Indian Challenger, and will you be doing a test ride? Yes. Yes. Techno, I'm going to be doing a test ride this Friday, Saturday. Slight delay. Pass MSF now. Find a good cruiser for beginner. Any suggestions? Double D, the new 2020 Honda Rebels are coming out, dude. Gonna love it. The Honda Rebel 300 and Honda Rebel 500. The 2020s have a slipper clutch in it, and what that basically means is that when you downshift and you do it too much, you don't match the RPMs, it won't actually make that rear tire skid. So you know, if you've ever been riding and you downshift and boom, you're like slipper clutch will help prevent some of that stuff. Make sure you hit that like button, guys. The new Indian engines are actually pretty cool. I'm glad that they're going to continue on working on. I mean, the only problem with like new engines, you know, mechanics and everybody has to get you know, used to it. You know, it's brand new. It's just got bugs and everything. So that's gonna be the problem. But what I'm excited for is, like, in 2, 3, 5 years, that engine's gonna look nice. I mean, they're gonna have all the kinks out and everything. We're actually gonna go over a few things here. This is a little different. So it says the next chapter, Harley-Davidson. What we're going to do, I want to talk about the Bronx real quick. The 2021 Bronx 975 and the 2021 Pan America is supposed to be the 2020s. It's supposed to be the 2020s, but they changed it up. So let's go ahead and watch this video. We're gonna watch these videos, and we're gonna have a quick discussion about these new Harley motorcycles. And the main thing is, we don't know too much. It's going on at EICMA right now in Italy, and we're going to figure out more and more as time goes on. But I talked about the Harley Bronx and the Pan America a long time ago, thinking that they were going to be new Sportsters, but completely wrong. So let's do that. Let's watch. Oh yeah, that's the new logo. So that's their new logo. So that Harley-Davidson, that's their new logo. That's the shield that we've typically seen. That's going to be like their graphic logo, but their new one is going to be Harley-Davidson. So we just saw the Bronx, the Pan America, obviously the Live Wire, the $30,000+ electric bike, and then we saw the new Lowrider S. So that's pretty interesting. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick look at what this Bronx is. Now the Bronx is going to be utilizing a modular engine. So from what I understand is that they can modulate it and put all these different things into it and make it a 500 all the way up to 975, I believe, maybe even more. They might be able to make a 300 to like a 1200. So I'm really excited about it. This looks an awful lot like a Street Fighter. This looks an awful lot like the Street Fighter that's me coming out. I don't know how much of a difference the Street Fighter versus the Bronx is going to be, much like how an 883 versus a 1200 Sportster. But let's go ahead and watch this video real quick. So the shield is just the shield. It doesn't say Harley-Davidson inside of it anymore. But I want to get that screenshot of the side. So this is the new 975 Harley Bronx, the 2021 Harley Bronx. And it looks an awful lot like a Buell. A lot like a Buell. And it looks a lot like the Street Fighter that they were talking about for 2021, I believe. So they still haven't really announced the Street Fighter yet. Like a real production or even a prototype. They just kind of talked about it for a while now. But look at liquid cooled. You got a street bike from Harley. It's pretty interesting. I'm glad that they're going towards a sport bike type stuff. I saw a patent for a really retro style fairing, so that might go to this Bronx. But I have a feeling that Harley-Davidson is going to go into the sport bike and the naked everything, because honestly, at the end of the day, a lot of new riders want a bike that is accessible to them, and Harley honestly is not very accessible in terms of cost, and then their tech is kind of lagging behind. So a lot of, like Yamaha, Kawasaki, Honda, especially Honda coming out with some really cool stuff, but they make it more accessible. And I think this is going to be like a very low entry type thing. It's not a Street 500, it's not a Street 500 or a Street 750. This is a brand new type of bike. Honestly, I think the street bikes are going to go out. I think the Street 300 or Street 500 and Street 750, even the Street Rod might leave. They might keep the Street Rod. That's actually kind of a decent looking bike. But this right here, there's absolutely no reason to get a Street 750 if you can get a 2021 Bronx. It's a 975 with a brand new engine, new tech, new everything. So why even get a Street Rod? So I'm really interested in that. I'm really interested in how they're going to do that. But here's the one thing that I was super excited to see is the 2021 Pan America. Let's make that 1080p, baby. Oh, let's go ahead and restart that. Come on now. No. What you doing there, buddy? Love it when it's live. So anyways, this is the... that was the Bronx. Okay, so now we're back. All right. Sorry, here we go. This is the Pan America. This is their adventure bike. Yep. So we don't have a lot of information when it comes to specs. It is starting to come out, the spec wise, and I will go over a video for specs if that's something you would want me to do, like a standalone video. But I'm really interested in this Pan America. Now, I was really concerned that it was gonna be massive, And the way it looked, you know, without a rider on it, it looks super massive. So maybe this guy is 7 feet tall. I have no idea, but it doesn't look that bad. It's not super wide. I was really expecting a super wide bike. You know what I mean? This bike is not that wide. It's more so long, but that right there looks an awful lot like, you know, the KTM adventure bikes or any of the adventure bikes out there. But that looks like a quality bike. There's no saddlebags on it, so I mean, there's going to be. It looks like there's options to put saddlebags on the bike. Typically, when you go adventure riding, you are doing like, you know, some on-road, off-road. So like these big bikes are really good for on and off-road. So like this dirt road is really good. But let me know what you guys do in the comments if you have an adventure bike. Do you do single track? Do you do like quad track stuff that's super like not this wide? I always found it interesting when they did commercials and stuff. It's like everybody's going fast, you know, everybody's hauling butt, everyone's fishtailing, all these different things. And then, but like that's not what typically people do. I don't want to crash my Harley. You know, I don't want to dump it accidentally messing around. I'll do that on a dirt bike. So they're riding a lot of these bikes like they're dirt bikes. And then, I mean, they're trained professionals, but like it's like one of those things where you watch a commercial and it's like, that's not realistic at all. That's not how I use the remote. That's not how I cook, you know, just like commercials like that. So when I see these commercials, that's kind of how I think. It's like, that's not how I would do things, but I would love to ride in this area. But yeah, that is the 2021 Pan America. And then we got the Harley Bronx 975. Super interesting. It just came out today, a couple hours ago. And then we also have the Street Fighter coming up. The Livewire still needs to hit the floor. Livewire is pretty interesting. I can't wait to test ride that bike. A lot of other people have been test riding that bike. I'm not too concerned about all the typical Softail and Sportsters, all those things. I'm really interested in how manufacturers are trying to lower the barrier. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how they're going to lower the barrier for new riders, because at the end of the day, what I've been finding out is all the riders that are riding now have their bike or they're going to die. That's typically what motorcycle riders in this category is. You know, Indian and Harley are basically the big standouts that are in the market for 30-plus-year-olds that have money. You know what I mean? And we have a ton of new people that want to ride that are 16 to 25. And I think Kawasaki, Honda, and especially, I'm going to keep saying Honda, but Honda's doing a great job. They're all doing these different things that are bringing in new riders. They're giving them what they want. And it seems like Harley has been doing what they want, you know? And I think that's where they kind of messed up there. So I'm really interested in these newer bikes, lower CC, something a little bit more accessible, priced at a reasonable rate. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people do get bikes because it is cheaper for insurance. It's cheaper for commuting to school or to work, and they live in an apartment, so they don't need a truck to carry a massive amount of things. And so I'm thinking in the idea of a consumer versus manufacturer, and I think Harley's now starting to get it. Indian got it a couple years ago when they started coming out with the Scout 60, and then people really liking the FTR. But they're slowly coming out. They're slowly building up their lineup, and Harley's in a good position to do something. But at the end of the day, Harley's a Harley. It's going to cost a lot of money. So that's kind of the situation there. All right, so we're going to go over accident stuff. There we go. So thank you guys for bearing with me when it came to that. That was something that I kind of want to go over in an actual video. So if it's something you want me to do like in an actual video, let me know. I'm going to see where I'm at. There we go. So we'll see. Also, guys, we are at 449 patrons. Not today's video, but that max risk video that I went over got demonetized. It got to the point where the views just instantly tanked. And when I think of the views, it's like everyone's like, oh man, views, that's how you get your money. Blah. I'm thinking that I can't reach more people now. You know, I got YouTube's not promoting that video anymore, so they're not promoting that hour-long medical session of what to do, what not to do, all these different things, and explaining what medical providers are doing. And it's just completely gone. YouTube just destroyed it, and people now can't get the education. Money-wise, whatever. That's what I got patrons for. So if you want to help out, become a patron, it'll help out quite a bit. But yeah, now people can't see the video. They're like less people, so 80% less people are gonna see the video. Yeah, I'm extremely upset by it, and I was talking to the chat, YouTube chat, YouTube's creator support, and they're like, yeah, we'll send it up the chain, and I'm like, come on, man. But yeah, I want to keep making those videos, but it's like if I make 5 out of my 6 videos a week of that and they don't make money, then I go into the problem of not being able to pay the bills. So I'll still do one a week at least, and we'll hopefully not get demonetized. But we're gonna watch these videos, guys. If you would like to support, especially if it's during the stream, if you go to patreon.com/DanTheFireman, it's $2 for the bottom tier, and you get a lot of stuff. You'll pop up on screen, and you will get a massive thank you from me. It's just weird. I mean, I'm okay with the demonetization. What I'm not okay is that they restrict my views. I made a post on YouTube and Twitter about that, and hopefully we'll get a response. That's insane. That's insane. So we had, let's go back a little bit more. Let's see if I can get it. So 87 right now to start the video. Yeah, Matt, the new 2020 Honda Rebels will have LEDs and it will have a gear indicator, among other things like a slipper clutch. So that's really interesting. That's really interesting. So this guy's going 87 miles an hour through congested traffic. Let's go ahead and go to the point where he looks up for once. I mean, he's looking up, but the camera is not. Let's see the situation that we have here. So we are in a massively crowded area, 2-lane road with obvious center lane for turning left or right. So that means you're going to have some cross traffic. You could see the grass, so there's a massive parking lot to the top left, and we have traffic coming this way, and we're going 97 miles an hour, redlining it. 97 miles an hour, redlining it. That is way too fast for this situation. I talk about riding within your limits, not the bike's limits. Now, this guy might have massive amount of limits. This bike could be massive amount of limits itself. I mean, we're in 4th gear. I don't know why we're in 4th gear redlining at 97 miles an hour. Anyways, but we never talk about riding within the environment's limits. If it is dark, if there is traffic, if you cannot see the ground, that has nothing to do with your riding skill. It has nothing to do with the bike power. It has everything to do with the situation. So if you guys are riding at night, ride within the situation's limits also. So if the situation's limits are super low, like this nighttime riding, and your skill is higher than that, and the bike's higher than that, you still have to ride to that ability, the situation's ability. If the situation is perfect, clear day, straight line road, no cross traffic, perfect asphalt, no anything, like a track, okay? Let's say a track. So the conditions that are set there for those limits are massive. You can do a lot in that, but now your skill and the bike has to be adjusted. So you always play and you always ride to the lowest situation here. Always to the lowest, okay? Doesn't matter if you're the best rider in the world with the best bike. If the situations outside are terrible, well, guess what? Ride to that situation, like gravel on the road, rain, snow, ride to that situation. So this right here, when I'm watching this, is that he is not riding within a situation. The reason why the camera is pointed at the dash, it's not because he wants to show his speed, it's because he's in full tuck and the camera's on his chin, so the camera's now next to his dash while he's looking at the tops of his eyes. So that's what we're here for. So he's redlining it. You can see the red right here. He's in the red line. Don't do that. You'll destroy your engine. But the reason why he puckered and sat up is because there was a car coming in front of him. So let's go ahead and watch that. At that speed, that car has no clue that there was a motorcyclist, even if they are looking for a motorcycle and super hyper aware. There's no way that red car saw that motorcycle. Absolutely not. If he did, he saw a tiny little dot way off in the distance, and then he made his turn, and then boom, the motorcyclist is right there because he's going 100 miles an hour. So this is where we start to see like motorcycle riders say, you know, man, this guy pulled out in front of me, had a close call. This is stupid, dumb. I mean, we put ourselves in that situation. So if we were just going the speed limit, this wouldn't have been a problem. And he absolutely did zero evasive maneuvers when it came to this. I mean, he just basically went from lane position 2.2 to 2. You know, because you can't swerve that fast or that far at 100 miles an hour. So that doesn't leave you any options. You can't stop in time. You can't swerve. You literally have to hope that that car is going to move out of the way. And that's because of speed. Speed kills so many people. So many people. Oh, yeah, this is definitely miles per hour. Definitely miles. He has an American accent. That looks like an American road. Oh, yeah, this is definitely miles per hour. 100 miles per hour. Doing great viewing. So I actually got this video sent in to me from the video's owner. So I will be making this video as a full-on in-depth analysis. But for right now, let's go ahead and watch this and do it free flow. So you guys can't see. I'm gonna go ahead and scroll this up just a little bit. You see the right here on the bottom left, right above my head, 100 miles an hour, hundo miles an hour. In the state of Arizona, if you go above, I believe 85, that's criminal speeding. 20 miles and over, the actual speed limit is criminal speeding. So there's nowhere in the state of Arizona where this is safe or legal. So this could be applied anywhere else, but yeah, this is definitely too fast for the conditions. Even though it's an interstate, it's still way too fast. Okay, so let's watch what happens. So evasive maneuvers, swerved out of the way, did decent. We're down to 44 miles an hour. So he decelerated in a straight line. Luckily, kept the bike upright and didn't panic and slam that front brake. So let's go back to what could possibly be something that you'd be looking out for. Okay, you see this? You see red? You see brake lights? You see brake lights? You see a bunch of vehicles kind of clumped together and a bunch of vehicles stopping. That's going to show you that, hey, something's happening, so we should be slowing down. We should not be going super fast in this situation. All this where we're starting to close that gap to other motorists should be an indication that something bad has happened, that there's the people in the far right lane are going to be rubbernecking. They're looking, but the people in these lanes where we're at with the motorcyclists are stopping because of that car. But we didn't know that. All we knew was what preceded that, which is a bunch of vehicles stopped with brake lights or trying to stop with brake lights. So that's going to let you know. Yeah, exactly. So why are they braking on the interstate? Why do cars brake on the interstate? The only time I've ever seen cars clumped up and brake and slowing down and stopping like that is because of an accident. It's as simple as that. You've never seen, and you never do that. It's always because of an accident. And then if you're like at the end of the line, a big massive line, that's because the people in the front is because of an accident. That's what you start figuring out. So if you see people stopped like that, assume that there's going to be something in the path of travel of some motorist. And if you lane split and go crazy through them, guess what? That could be in your path of travel, which is exactly what happened here. Luckily, this vehicle is not across two lanes. Oh, sorry. Brake lights, brake lights, brake lights. This looks like Fenix. Oh, he's way over there. That was the biggest panic brake that I've seen in a while. I was yelling out brake lights because you start to see a bunch of brake lights. Yeah, this looks like Fenix. You start to see a bunch of brake lights up here, but then all of a sudden, bigger brake lights, bigger brake lights, bigger brake lights. That means you're getting closer to the brake lights. And then he saw it. He was rubbernecking, looking to the left, and then all of a sudden he looks forward and slams that front brake, and that's what caused the dumping. So you see the brake lights. You see a lot of brake lights. It's just this big glob of red. Typically, when you see one brake light, which is like over here, we got this guy way over here on the right, that black SUV has brake lights on, but you can kind of see it, not really, but you see a bunch of them. That should be that indication that, hey, I should be looking that way. So right in front of him, a bunch of brake lights. He's looking to the left at a crash. There's quite possibly a crash up ahead. Let's see. So we have a motorcycle cop blocking traffic, so it's actually pretty damaged somewhere. There must be a crash on that side, must be a crash on this side. So the thing is, he's looking forward, but he's not thinking. There's a difference between looking and seeing. Looking is like I can look at the screen right here, but what am I seeing? You know, what am I seeing here? Okay. So that's the thing, is that he's thinking about the accident off to the left, looking straight. Guess what that's called? Inattentional blindness. When you're focused on something else, even though you're looking at something, you still can't recognize it. And we get on car drivers all the time about having inattentional blindness. They didn't see me. They were looking at their phone, or they were thinking about work. They got in an argument and they're thinking about that. And we get really pissed off at them because it's like, you guys should be paying attention. We're motorcyclists. We're going to, you can kill us. But right here, it affects motorcycle riders. So what that means is that it affects human beings. So that the problems that we see car drivers having, guess what? We have that as motorcyclists. We just don't see it. So this guy has inattentional blindness. He's thinking about the stuff over to the left. He's looking forward. And then as soon as he snaps out of it, boom, grabs that front brake. Yeah, exactly. Covering the front brake while riding in congested traffic makes sense. On the highway, not so much. Exactly. So in this situation, if you make a panic movement, so if you had your hands on the grips and you squeeze because you panic, like, you think about it, like you do that anyways. Like, oh crap, what happened? You tense up, right? Oh crap, when you get panicked. So if you already have your hands on the clutch and the brake and you panic, guess what? You're squeezing that brake and that clutch, and you're going to dump the bike because you didn't preload the front tire. So if you have your hands on the handlebars and you do, oh crap, you might be able to do fine because your suspension and everything will handle it. Then you reach for the brakes. So that's the thing. But right here, he recognizes it a little too late. There it is. So this is the moment he grabbed. I'm going to go ahead and move it up for you guys. Let me go ahead and go back a little bit. There it is. This is the moment he squeezed and went for that, or not squeezed, the moment he grabbed. The moment he grabbed, the moment he recognized that we have people right here, that we have people in our way. This is 7th, I think it says 7th Street. Yeah, this is Fenix. This has got to be Fenix. The moment he recognized and he made a massive panic, grabbed that front brake. What other options do we have here in this situation specifically outside of braking? Because even if he applies proper brake pressure at this speed, he's still going to run into the back of that car, maybe at 10 to 20 miles an hour instead of 80. So it's still better, but you just don't have the stopping distance, the total stopping distance. So yeah, there's another motorcycle rider too. When we fast forward, I'm gonna see if his bike actually hit the other motorcyclist. So you have a problem when it comes to your own bad training. You're affecting other people. But yeah, right lane appears open. What about the left shoulder? It appears open. you have abilities to swerve. And this is where you start getting into your own skill set. Do you have the skills to do that? Do you feel comfortable? Are you on the interstate right now? Have you been riding on the interstate right now? And are you comfortable at swerving at that speed? Are you comfortable applying the brakes at that speed? If not, then what are you doing on the interstate? Serious. What are you doing on the interstate if you are not comfortable with swerving at that speed, or you can't brake at that speed? That means you're telling me that you're going on the interstate because it's a faster route, you can go straight in line, you can accelerate fine, you can decelerate to the on and off ramp, and that's what you're okay with that? What about emergencies? What about any of this stuff? That's the problem we're having with car drivers. That's the problem we're having with any driver, is that they are comfortable with getting up to speed and getting down to speed gradually. They're comfortable with that in their own little bubble. What they're not comfortable at, what they're not comfortable at is doing any type of evasive maneuver. When was the last time you had to swerve around a pothole, guys? Or did you just accidentally hit the pothole after you saw it? What about, slamming the brakes? Do you guys understand progressive brake pressure even in a car? Where's your final drive? Do you have front wheel, rear wheel, all wheel drive? What is it that you guys have? Do you guys have any of this understanding? So we have to go away from, I can ride, I can drive, I'm good. All because you know how to accelerate a little bit and decelerate when you have to. If that's it, then you shouldn't be on the road. You need to practice and train how to do evasive maneuvers. Because in this situation right here, it doesn't look like he has the training to make this in a panic. You could swerve left or right. You can swerve left or right here. And you would have been perfectly fine. But instead we applied the brakes too hard. Man, I'm on a soapbox today. So, I think that's his bike. Because there was that motorcyclist. I'm afraid he might have hit. Oh. His hands. I want to see his hands. His hand. Yeah. He's pulling out rock. How much more? Let's see. Oh, look at that damage. That's a lot of damage. Oh, come on. I was expecting to see more. So anyways, yeah, what happened here, it shows in his editing. So I dumped my bike, speed, wobble, accident, no gear. Yeah. So how do speed wobbles happen? It's basically the rotational forces of the suspension basically doing this. Okay, it's gonna move your handlebars. So if that's what's basically a speed wobble and an accident. So it can happen with bad suspension, improperly inflated tires. It can happen with damaged tires, landing a bike too hard after a wheelie, hitting a bump at a high rate of speed can knock your tire just a little bit, and then when it catches traction again, it's going to constantly be shaking back and forth. So really, at the end of the day, is go over bumps straight and try to blip that throttle, get a little bit of weight off that front tire so you can go over it. Make sure you have your tires properly inflated. Do a nice T-clock so you can check, see for any damage to the tire. And then you also don't want to do anything crazy like wheelies and land them bad. What's the fix for that? Roll throttle or something else? There's a bunch of people are saying that the main thing with speed wobbles and or death wobbles, all those different names for it, is that the suspension is moving like this. So some people are saying, hey, take weight off that front suspension by applying a little bit more throttle, because when you apply throttle, suspension raises. So that's what some people are saying, is apply some throttle, power through it. And then another school of thought is to put weight on it, as much weight as possible on it to help stabilize it. At the end of the day, once again, the suspension, make sure it's good. You got fork seals, fork oil, all that stuff. It's not leaking. Good tires. Another thing that you can do, especially for you sport bike riders or even cruiser riders, maybe for your model, is to get a steering dampener. That will just eliminate the problem. If properly installed. So a steering dampener would help out a lot. But that's a lot of damage, Vincent. Gavin, those are great. Both of those are great helmets. Pick the one that fits you best and then the one you like. I think they're about the same price too. Yeah, Crumb. That's a crazy one. So that's what it was with this situation. Is probably a little too fast for his tires and suspension that they're made. So guys, remember, just because you got a Ninja 300 or Ninja 600 doesn't mean you have race compliant parts on that bike. It looks like a race bike, but it might not have the best suspension, might not have the best brakes, might not have the best tires. Those are all things you got to upgrade. So when you get like a race ready bike, the BMW 1000 RR, that bike, you're gonna have the stuff that they use to race. Might not be the same tire, compound tire, might have some changes for emissions, but guys, you need to realize your suspension is not race stuff. Your suspension is not designed for that. It's designed for the very minimum. So when you speed and go crazy, this is the type of stuff that will happen, which I actually kind of think that manufacturers, if they're going to be giving, put it in people's minds that you can go this fast or even tune it bikes that fast, then I think they should give bikes the appropriate stuff. You know what I mean? The appropriate suspension. I think that's kind of ridiculous. Giovanno, how you doing? How is someone like Masterson not getting arrested? He constantly posts videos of him riding 150 miles per hour on the freeway. I'm not a cop. I don't know. It almost seems obvious, but how cops do their investigations, or maybe he doesn't post where he's at. So maybe in some I don't know. Can a cop chime in on that? Because I know for like drones and stuff, like they can't get you with YouTube videos. They really can't. They have to catch you in the act. You know what I mean? Sorry to interrupt, Daniel. Are you going to Florida more? Oh no, man. That's this month, right? I won't be able to do it. I wish I could. No problem, Walter. If I get distracted easily, don't worry. I would love to. I think next year is going to be the year, though. Next year is going to be the year. I'm going to see about working with Progressive a little bit more, and we're going to see about getting me to go to some of these Progressive IMS shows. You know what I mean? I think that'd be pretty fun. With that, it'll be definitely much easier. But 2020 and further, I see some good stuff. This is barely my first whole year as a full-time full-time YouTuber, so pretty excited. But yeah, next year. Love to meet you guys, though. So right here, speed wobbles. So that is just a scream of anger. He's obviously in some pain, but that sounds like, that's not a guttural like screaming like the Masterson video. So this one this is anger involved. But just take it. He's like picking stuff out of his hands. We'll just watch it. Go. So he's right here. He's picking out rocks and picking out debris from his hand. It's not going to get it all. So when and if he goes to the hospital or goes to the doctor, they're going to debride it. They're going to actually get not necessarily steel wool, but it's going to feel like it, and they're going to be removing flesh just to get the stuff out. So you're going to have issues there. See, like, he's picking out the big pieces. So he's pretty angry. But look at that. Very lucky that he's even walking. All these are tears. These are all tears. So the initial tear probably grabbed it right there, ripped it up, and then kept ripping. He's got burn marks on his leg. So a lot of this could be transferred to the flesh that we just can't see. So, man, guys, you really need to wear your gear. This guy got lucky. Just because you see somebody on the internet or know somebody that after a crash and all they had was a helmet and gloves and they walked away and they're fine, that means they got lucky. They are the exception to the rule. It's just insane. It's insane the type of damage you could do to your body. I mean, just look at bikes after a crash. It's like, that's your body too. You might not see it like it's a bike, but you did that to your internal organs. You did that to your soft tissue, your muscles, your ligaments, your bones. Your skin holds up pretty damn well. What's up, Dylan? Oh. Low side. Yep. I think he hit the car too. Or the car did a good job of stopping.
Yeah, I'm good. My foot caught in gravel.
His foot caught. So, his foot caught. How would your foot caught? That means you were leaning really far, basically. Your foot caught because you're leaning very far. At this speed, he's not in a good position. So why is he not in a good position? Yeah, the Carbon R6. Hey, you recognize that, the Carbon R6 crash. So typically, we're going to set ourselves up for the next turn. Let's say this is a track, okay? Let's say this is a track. So we're going to set ourselves up for the next turn. So we're going to be in outside, inside, outside. If we're going for speed, okay? This is what this guy's doing. We're going for speed, so outside, inside, outside. So right now he's set up good to stay on the outside and then go inside right at the apex and then go outside again, getting set up for the next turn. So he might not go outside. He might stay outside, inside, inside if he's setting up for another left-handed turn. Okay, so we're kind of on the same page there. So he's set up right now, perfect. But let's throw something in there. Let's throw a car in there that we have to go around. So are we going around the left side? It's probably too dangerous because we have oncoming traffic. So let's go to the inside. So now we're on the inside. We don't have our outside, inside, outside anymore. So now we're going inside, inside, and trying to stay inside. Inside, inside, outside. So what's happening there is that he's going fast, going to hit the apex fast, and get shot out. So that's what happened here. So instead of getting shot out, he tries to lean further, 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 counter steering more. And guess what? He just put it so much cornering traction out of his 100% of his tires that it just washed out. He went too far, not enough traction, hit his foot, hit some gravel maybe, washed out because of line selection. Line selection at that speed really screwed him up. But guess what? The thing that screwed him up even more was the fact there was a car in the way. Since there's a car in the way, it screwed up his line. So if we're going for speed, how can we remove that situation? If this looks like a wonderful track without that car. If there's no car there, it'd be beautiful. But how do we remove the hazard, which is that white car? How do we remove that? Oh, we take it to a track. Do the stuff at a track. Why? There's no cars. There's no oncoming traffic. Nothing. The track is literally one direction the whole way. So if you want to go and do, your knee down, get your elbow down, head down, your butt down, everything down, whatever it is you want to do on these wonderful curvy roads. They're beautiful roads. But let's just take it to a track. Because we can remove a lot of these hazards. We'll remove these hazards. So what happened here? He was going to go outside, inside, outside. Car got in the way, went inside. Went too far inside, couldn't maintain that turn. Washed out. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm good. My foot caught in gravel.
Oh, oh. Hopefully this music's not copyright. I'll mute it. Can't hear anything anyways. Okay, so let's figure out what happened there. This is a typical crash. Okay, so we're doing basically a 90-degree turn. Okay, a 90-degree turn. So over here it's gonna be a left-handed turn. United States, typically where you see 90-degree turns are right-handed turns from a stop or going into an intersection from the right lane. That's the time when you see that. So you're gonna see this wide arcing left-handed turn in intersections. In the United States, you're gonna see a wide arcing right-handed turn elsewhere. We have a roundabout here, so this is a form of an intersection, and we're gonna be doing for the United States. Let's assume, or not assume. Let's pretend that this is our version of a right-handed turn. Okay, everyone else, here we go. So let's go ahead and go back a little bit. I already saw what happened. Okay, we talked about traction. Traction. You need to trust our tires to have enough traction. How do we have traction? Traction is basically friction. Weight on an object, let's go ahead and go over. Let's do this. So I have my desk right here, and I've shown this demonstration before. I've shown the foot one in my braking video because it's very important with braking. But right here on my desk, I know it's kind of hard for you guys to see. It's in the lower left section. What you need to do, weight on an object will create friction, because if I don't put any weight on here, I could do this back and forth. There's a little bit of friction, but it moves. If I put weight on here, it won't move. I'm trying to shake it. I'm trying to move my hand. It pretty much like a suction cup. That is traction. Okay, that is what your tires are doing at all times. Mechanical traction. They're soft pliable tires will fit inside the grooves of the road. That's why race tires are super soft and they don't last very long. Hard tires like touring tires can still grab the road, but not as good. Same concept. But we need to also put weight on the tire. So when we accelerate, our suspension and the weight of our bike moves up, so a little bit less weight on the tires, which allows you to have better speeds, and it also allows you to have better tire life. When you apply the brakes, everything kind of moves forward, right? You feel everything moving forward. You're applying the brakes, your deceleration. All that weight is going to that front tire. So now you have that mechanical traction. So soft tires are going to get squished really hard into that road, and then you're going to have hard tires squish even further into that road. That's perfect. So that's what we have to do. But if we don't load the tires with a little bit of traction, we can't grip anything. So in the middle of a turn, if we're turning, we're using traction, but then we accelerate hard, we just threw out our turning traction. We just threw out everything traction. It just basically spun the tires. And that's basically how traction works. And I know I have to give you massive explanation about it just so I could say, hey, she accelerated through the turn and it washed the tires out. But I want you to understand why. So she's going to accelerate through the turn and run out of traction for that tire because it accelerated and lifted up a little bit off the ground when you accelerate, and it's going to wash that back end out. So you're here because you have the best name, Daniel. So you're going to see her. I'm going to go ahead and play it again. And you're going to see her get up to the intersection at a kind of a speed. And then as soon as it's time for her to go, you'll see her try to get through the corner as quick as possible. That's in the acceleration portion. So right here, it's a typical steady speed. And then accelerate. You can even hear it. So I'll keep my mouth shut now. And I'll put the volume up for the audio for this. And you'll hear it in the engine. You'll hear her accelerating. that was all too much traction used. So there's many ways of saying it. I like to say the traction pie chart. There's also the traction bank account, where every time you accelerate, you pull some out of the bank. Every time you decelerate, you pull some out of the bank. You only have $100. You pull out 50 here, 20 here. If you pull out too much, you do an overdraft, you wash out. Same thing with a pie chart. You use too much, it overfills, you slip and fall. That's basically that. So we'll skip the rest. She seems to be fine. She's just pissed. Okay, it was blinked. This is bad editing. So it's blurred, and then if you go towards the last frame, I bet there you go. So he didn't have the blur for one more frame. You just gotta do one more frame, bro. Just one more frame. Those are the types of things you see when you edit a lot. Okay. Yeah, I use the arrow keys sometimes. So Gixxer 1000 crash rebuild. Oh no. Oh, he lost rear tire traction. So, yeah. What happened here? Probably the same concept. If this is a rebuild, quite possibly doesn't have the best tires for the bike. It could be really damaged tires. So whenever you go out for a ride, do a very good, well, if you go out for a ride daily, so let's say you commute. So go out for a ride, you do a quick visual inspection, but every week minimum, like on weekends, check your tires. Might have damage, might have low tread. So right here, we could be having that issue. He's going to go in this turn. That rear tire is going to slide out, but unlike the one we just watched, it's going to regain traction, and you're going to see it stand him up, and it's going to make him go wide and go straight into the wall. So he's actually going to lose traction, go into a low side, grabs traction again because your tires are actually pretty good. Grabs traction, and it wants to stand the bike back up because bikes are designed to do that. And then he went wide. So what can really happen is low side, grabs traction, and then flips them, and that's called a high side accident. Those are very dangerous because you get ejected. Then you have massive impact points. So, low side. That right there, that jerky movement, it regained traction right there. So, watch it regain traction right at the last second. He's low siding into the wall. Low siding, low siding, low siding. Grabs. If you want to know what the MotoStars video, there you go. Only doing that because you're a YouTube member, bruh. I typically don't do that. But there you go. So that's the original video. It's a Casey Neistat video. Oh, too wide. Too wide. No. Oh, the fence. Is there more? Is there more?
Hey, write it down.
Hit the fence.
Hey, man, you're right.
Hit his leg. Shredded.
Hey, sit down.
So he has...
Hey, man, you're right.
He's got injuries. They blurred it out. He's got injuries. This is barbed wire. Oh, Nikes. Ah, I see Nikes in the chat, boyo. Heck yeah. Yeah, he's got injuries. The Alpine Star Bionic Plus. We'll take a look at that viewing. We'll take a look at that. Yeah, these are shorts now. So what? This was at 6. Is it this video? No, that's not a video. Is it this one? Yeah, this is this one.
How do you like it? Awesome, bro. Hey man, you're right.
There we go. So MotoStars edited it. So yeah, it's got blood. Maybe MotoStars was smart because he's probably not gonna get demonetized, and I will because I'm showing blood. He's got some blood, not a lot. So this looks like venous blood. So he probably has an impalement somewhere, like a stick. It could be capillary. I mean, you can bleed a lot if you have a nice laceration, but it more than looks like he got something impaled into his arm. That, yeah, could have cut himself on the barbed wire. I mean, his bike's underneath. If he stayed on it, he could have cut himself on the barbed wire. But yeah, that's no bueno. That's no bueno. You don't want to get bloody. You don't want to get bloody. I was hoping for a little bit more, you know, like more information, but we don't got much. Let's see.
Hey, sit down.
Oh, let's see. That looks like something's impaled. That's a foreign object. He has something impaled into him. Yeah, that's venous blood. That's venous blood. He ended up being all right. Crashes happen. Thanks for viewing. Okay. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to see a little bit more of the aftermath. We'll watch that video one more time. We'll watch how he crashed one more time. So it just went wide. Didn't trust his skills. Didn't trust something. He didn't counter steer. Didn't trust it. This is an easy turn. If you feel uncomfortable and you feel like you're going wide, just roll off the throttle. Honestly, that demonetization stuff is bullshit. But yeah, just roll off the throttle a little bit and counter steer a little bit more.
Hey, ride her down. Hey man, you're right. Dude. Hey, sit down.
It's raining. Boris, nice. Oh, probably hit some oil. Loss of traction. We talked about traction. So we talked about traction and how the mechanical traction works with the tire. How when it's softer than the road. So in the road you have like a bunch of little divots. So the tire actually kind of molds itself into that. Think of Velcro kind of, and that's how it gets its traction. But when you have rain or you have fluids or you have debris, it fills in that layer. So then your tires can't grab it as easily. So that's what happens when it's raining, is that's why you have loss of traction, is because it fills in those little spots. Another thing that could happen is that we watched that video of that metal grate with that Harley rider, that long metal grate. There's no little divots for your tires to grab onto. So that's why it's even slipperier. So that's why we got to watch out for that. And then we got to make sure we ride within the situation's abilities. Also, if you notice, this is the camera getting pretty much fogged out and you can't see very well because the rain drops on the camera. But what's happening to the face of the motorcycle rider? What's happening here? Same thing. So this is what you literally see when it's raining, and it sucks. So ride within that. Ride within that ability. Do you think you can do 60 miles an hour, right? You could do 60 miles an hour on a perfect clear day. But should you do 60 miles an hour here? No. I would go way slower than that. I'm riding within that limitation. So lost traction, front tire. I can't see his right hand. What happened? I don't know if he applied the brakes, but it was, like I said, loss of traction. So in these turns, take it easier. If this is a 30, 45 mile an hour road, whatever, let's say 45 mile an hour road, that 45 mile an hour turn, the intersection, all that stuff, it's raining. You have a limitation on traction now. Cars don't have to deal with that. Motorcyclists do. So how about we do this turn at 30 instead of 45? You know what I mean? Don't let it affect you. Don't let it affect your riding.
Hey, that was dangerous. You almost killed me.
Yeah, don't make it worse. Yeah, even in a car, you gotta slow down. Like if your windshield, exactly, Marcus. If your windshield is like fogged up, like should you be like going fast? No, it's basically you're blind. You're driving blind. And close your eyes and walk around. Are you walking as fast as you would if you had your eyes open? No, you're not. It's all like dark in here. Sorry, I'm like looking at the Discord. This is in New York. Just expect this kind of traffic and expect these people doing these things. In New York and in areas that are highly congested, people want to move and they'll do it. This is why you need to keep your head on a swivel with the mirrors, with everything. That's exactly why you have to do that. And then after the fact, after something like this happens, don't antagonize or escalate the situation by chasing the person down just so you can say, hey, you almost killed me. Say that to yourself. Be like, hey, man, that guy almost killed me, but why did I not see that taxi driver? Why did I not see a bright orange anything? So then you could start going into your mind like, oh, maybe I should have been checking my mirrors. I could have seen it. It wouldn't have been a surprise. It would have sucked. And you would have been like, oh, what are you doing, dude? Why are you being an idiot? I'll move over a little bit. But it wouldn't have been a surprise. When you get surprised, you have a panic. When you have a panic, you get angry or you do stupid stuff. So this is what's happening here. It was a surprise. It was a panic. It was a gotcha moment. And nobody likes being scared, so he's going to go chase him down.
Hey, that was dangerous.
Yeah, it was.
You almost killed me.
Yep. Oh, dump the clutch. No. That was just a mistake. That was just a mistake. All right. So we're going to go over this one real quick. So it says, past CBT yesterday, just got my bike from the shop. So he's getting ready to go. He's looking where he needs to go. Very good. Doing your lifesavers, your head checks, whatever you want to call them. But basically just looking over your shoulder to make sure the path is clear. Don't always trust your mirrors. So that's what he's doing. He's getting ready. He's applying. He has the clutch fully pulled in. He's giving a little bit of throttle. He's trying to find that friction zone once again. But it's a little bit exacerbated because the handlebars are turned. Typically, when you train, you don't have your handlebars turned when you're doing that. You learn how to do that in the beginner class, the BRC1, but you learn it a little bit later. It's the tight turn from a stop. But right here, he just let go of the clutch too much with a little bit too much throttle, put all that power to that rear wheel, made him jump, and then it just pretty much fell over. This is a typical beginner mistake. And honestly, if this happens to you, don't worry too much. Don't worry too much. It's gonna it can happen. It won't happen. It doesn't matter. But this is a beginner thing. It's going to smooth out. This is a bump. It's gonna smooth out with experience. Okay. Hopefully you're not hurt. So this is why having full gear is very important. So he's looking, dumps the clutch accidentally. There it is. So if that happens to you and you feel like you dumped the clutch and now you feel like you're getting like you're taking off and you're going too fast or something's going crazy, squeeze that clutch back in. Squeeze it back in. You're going to lose all power to that rear wheel, and then at that point you're just kind of going the speed that you hold the clutch in. So if you're going like 5 miles an hour, you're going to go 5, 4, 3. You're not going to get any more power to that rear wheel. So pull it in, then start squeezing that front brake when you have your handlebars straight. Yeah, that's awesome. What's my opinion on max wrist? People do whatever the heck they want to do. You do what you want to do. Is there a responsibility with that type of audience, like with your audience? Yeah, there's a little bit of responsibility, but at the end of the day, he's providing something that those people like. That's why he has over 500,000 subscribers. I have 123,000 subscribers. So he's playing to an audience that wants to see that stuff. I'm playing to an audience that wants to see my kind of stuff. He can do whatever he wants. I will try my best. That means I have to work harder to grab some of that audience and let them know about safety. People can do whatever they want to do. It's up to me to do something that will change that. It's not up to them to change. Just like motorcycles and cars. It's not my job to teach the car drivers how to drive. I won't be able to do that. It's my job to make sure that I do the best I possibly can to make my ride safe and to not blame others. So for me with him, he does what he does. I need to work harder so I can be at that level for safety. So the video editing, yeah, I saw some of the stuff on the video editing. So I wouldn't say that cost us, but kind of would say the same thing. But yeah, I forgot. I got distracted. Yeah, the video editing, I saw kind of what he was doing with it, and I mean, everyone has their own way. I mean, I think Chase on Two Wheels has some of the best editing for any motorcycle rider. Same thing with Fortnite. I love their editing style. I love it. Everyone has their thing. Slow Rider opinion on MC Rider and Moto Jitsu. MC Rider, I mean, he's like the OG dude. I remember watching his videos when I first started. So. First started making my videos, so I thought that was pretty cool. I think he's doing a great job. He puts out one video a week, but it's high quality, and he has the tips section. He has the experience as an MSF rider coach, so he's giving out really good information. So I recommend everybody watching his stuff. Moto Jitsu, same thing. So he's a total control instructor. So there's MSF, Motorcycle Safety Foundation, which I'm a part of with MC Rider, and then Total Control. So Total Control is a Lee Parks thing. So he's more of that aspect, and then he talks to a different audience. So like I talked about Max Risk having the entertainment or the people that want to see his stuff, that type of audience. I don't honestly understand that type of audience. Kind of understand my own and people in my sphere. MC Rider has the audience that they just need the down and dirty, give it to me, motorcycle tips like from the class. Like this is an instructor type thing, and I think that's kind of where that's at. I personally have an audience of beginner riders that I focus more so on the medical and the situational awareness side. I will give you some of the stuff that MC Rider will give you from MSF and from our experiences. And but that's not my main thing. My main thing is situational awareness, how to prevent this accident, how to have the skills, what kind of skills do you need. I try to give like the full thing. I probably give out too much information because I talk a lot. And then Moto Jitsu, he does like 100% skill, like, or not 100%, I take that back, like 80%, boom, this is the skills that you need, this is how you do it. He has a good book. I have the book, it's a great book. This is what you need to do. These are the skills, and then here's reading materials on why you need the skills. So he kind of gives you the skill-based stuff, and then he also does some really good planning for how to take corners safely. He has more of advanced class stuff. So if you think about it, a lot of the stuff he does give is really good information for beginners, but it almost feels like it's tailored to advanced riders. For me, I'm more so the street riding, how to get from point A to point B as safe as possible on the street. So that's kind of where I'm at. So I think MC Rider has his great section here. Moto Jitsu has his great section here. I have a great section here, and then it kind of just mixes towards the middle. You know what I mean? But I focus more on the medical and situational awareness with my own experience. That's probably where everyone's getting their stuffs. Let's see. What other questions? What do you guys think about the new Harley bikes? Anybody see the new Harley bikes? We talked about that at the beginning of the video. Bikes and beards, yeah. Walterific, like, yeah, so like same thing. The only thing like if you think about it, the thing that connects all these people is just motorcycles. That's it. The person itself, like, I'm different than Moto Jitsu. My personality, everything different than him. So, more than likely, same thing with MC Rider. More than likely, same thing with Walterific. Do It with Dan. Blockhead, John Maxwell, Bike and Bird, Moto Noob Rider. Like, we're all different. The only thing that we have in common is motorcycling. So when I talk about motorcycling, I'm talking to people that are like me. When Moto Jitsu's talking about motorcycling, he's talking to people like him. So you start to that's pretty much what it is. The only thing that we have in common is motorcycles. But you know, it's me. Like, this is me, Dan the Fireman. That's why I have that Discord. So, Discord, guys. If you want to join the Discord, it's a free chat room. Absolutely free. We have over 2,000 members. So, for me, like, my biggest thing is the mental health section. Well, yeah, in Discord, but, like, the mental health, kind of like me as a person. Like, I try to share as much as I possibly can. So, my people are like me. And I build a community around that. I don't build a community around motorcycling. I build a community around like-minded people, basically. So Harley has new bikes, yeah. All I've been hearing from Harley is just tons of whining about the Indian Challenger. Yeah, so that's what I've been hearing too. They've been whining about the Indian Challenger, and then Indian motorcyclists have been whining about the Challenger too. I can't wait. This Friday I'll be test riding it. So this Friday I'll be test riding it. Friday, Saturday I'll be test riding it. Super excited about that. But yeah, they're coming out. They have the Bronx 975. It's going to be a sport looking bike. It's a naked sport looking bike. It's a 975cc. It's a new engine. I think it's called the Revolution engine. And then you have the Pan America. That's a 1250. It's a 2021 Pan America adventure bike. It's a 1250 engine. Yeah, and then you also have, you know, the Livewire, the new Lowrider S, and the Ducati Biscotti. Biscottis sound good right now. Why is it there? So yeah, so help me out, guys, with the visual, like my lips talking versus the actual audio. Let me know how that goes, because I'm making changes. So let's see how it works. Yeah, I know I want a Biscotti. I do want a Biscotti. The Papa Yam. So let me know how, like, my lips, if they're moving, like, are my lips behind? Are the lips behind the audio or in front of the audio? There you go. How's that? Was the clap before or after? So I see audio is later and behind the audio. Audio's in front. Okay, how about now? Yeah, Streamlabs, they made an update. I might have to go back to regular OBS. That's the problem. What's up, Lies in the Skies? One more time. There we go. We'll figure it out, and then we'll end the stream because it's over an hour anyways. It sucks because there's a. I'll have to monitor it. I'll have to do it. I'll have to do it after the stream. Streamlabs. I'll set up OBS next time. Yeah. But guys, I'd love it if you would join the Discord. Discord's absolutely free. I got some cool things coming up. Meeting with a few people in the coming days and weeks. I see a bunch of new people in the Discord. Filigran, Marcus, Lowrider. Yeah, boys. But yeah, we're gonna be ending the stream, so we're gonna figure out stuff. Yeah, it's less noticeable when I minimize, but I want it to be good. That's the problem. So it might be a problem with my camera, might be a problem with the audio. We'll figure it out. So guys, yeah, this is the Discord. So join the Discord. Cash the confrontational, boy. The link is right there, Joel Ginby. Click that link and you're automatically invited, buddy. Click it, you're automatically invited. Join the Discord. We have 2,000 members. The Discord is called the Firehouse, but discord.gg/DandanTheFireman. Boom. Yeah. Cash, how you doing? So yeah, there's gonna be a few things you're gonna have to do. You have to verify who you are before you can talk, because we only take in the people that are not trolls. We don't want trolls in our Discord. Yeah, boys. Join up. Dragos, welcome.